Hey, how is it going, guys? I wanted to make a part two on the confusion with branded lost because I think I covered as much as I could in my previous video. By the way, go watch that one to give you an idea of where I'm coming from for this video. I covered as much as I could in that one, but I want to make a follow up with this one just to cover some other stuff that I think has come up in a little bit of confusion, and I want to cover it a little bit better in another video. The main thing I do want to recall your attention to from my previous video is the interaction with branded lost and branded fusion, with branded fusion being ashed under branded lost. Again, this does work. There was still a little bit of confusion on this, but you are able to ash branded fusion under branded lost. And the reason that you can do that is how branded lost is worded. I want you to pay attention to the first part where it says the activation of cards and effects, blah, 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 cannot be negated. If you read ash, you go down to the part that says this card negate that effect. Ash does not negate activation. Ash negates the effect. Therefore, you are able to use Ash Blossom on Branded Fusion if Branded Lost is on the field. That is different when you are dealing with an interaction such as Branded in Red, and then you have another card such as DD Crow or Ghost Bell. First of all, you are able to DD Crow or any other quick effect banish on the target at any point because you're not negating the activation with DD Crow, you're just banishing something from the graveyard, in this case the target. So you are able to DD Crow while Branded Lost is on the field in response to Branded Red because that's not stopping the activation. Ghost Bell is different than Ash. You are still able to use Ghost Bell on Branded Red while it's activated, but it will not resolve because of one important factor. If you read in the same place on Ghost Bell, it says negate that activation. Branded Lost says the activation cannot be negated, so you are able to use Ghost Bell, but it will not work on Branded in Red because of negate the activation versus negate the effect. Ash Blossom will work on Branded Fusion. Ghost Bell will not work on Branded in Red if Branded Lost is on the field. And one more interaction I wanted to go over because this is one that I don't think I covered well in my last video, but now I know a little bit more about, and I just wanted to cover it in this. It still involves Branded in Red, and it involves the summon of Guardian Chimera. I wanted to go over this because the portion of Branded Lost, the second effect, it says if you fusion summon nope, not the other one. It's the one right above that. It says your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. So when you summon Guardian Chimera off of Branded in Red, for example, does your opponent have a window to respond, or are they not able to respond in that window? And the answer is it depends on when Branded in Red is resolving. Long story short, Branded in Red has to be Chain Link 1 in the previous chain. Now, let me go into this because I was a little confused by this at first, so I'm going to try and clarify this as best as I can. So you have Branded Lost on the field. Branded in Red is set. You're going to go into Guardian Chimera with whatever your board is. If Branded in Red is Chain Link 1, like on summon, Branded in Red. If Branded in Red is Chain Link 1, that is going to be the last thing that resolves. So when Guardian Chimera is summoned, your opponent is not allowed to respond within that window because a fusion monster was fusion summoned that way. The fusion was the last action to occur. You contrast this with a situation like this. Let's say your opponent has Cosmic Cyclone, or you pick your favorite spell and trap removal, Twin Twister, Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, it's all the same. If your opponent goes Cosmic, target the Branded in Red they know is set. Chain Branded in Red. Branded in Red will no longer be the last action that resolved. It is Chain Link 2, and remember in Yu-Gi-Oh! Chain Links resolve backwards. So, Chain Link 2, Branded in Red, you add back, you fuse, Guardian Chimera is summoned. Chain Link 1 resolves, Cosmic to banish Branded in Red. That was the last action to resolve. Branded in Red was not the last action to resolve, therefore the fusion summon was not the previous action that resolved last. Cosmic Cyclone was the last thing that resolved. Therefore, Guardian Chimera's effect is not protected under Branded Lost because its fusion summon was not the previous thing that resolved. It was Cosmic Cyclone's effect that was the last event in those chain links that resolved. So long story short of that, if you're still confused, as long as Branded in Red is Chainlink 1 in the previous chain, then Guardian Chimera's effect will be protected under Branded Lost. But if you chain Branded in Red to something else and it is Chainlink 2 or more, it is not Chainlink 1, then the Fusion Summon was not the previous thing, or was not the last thing to resolve in the previous Chainlink. Therefore, Guardian Chimera's effect is not protected under Branded Lost. Hopefully that cleared up a little bit more confusion. Just comment below if you have any more questions with rulings on this card, and I'll do what I can. And beyond that, thanks for tuning in, and have a great rest of the day.